Hello, Prime Media audiences. This is Ladette, your host, joining you with a special guest today. I'm here with Valerie Browning. Valerie is in Afar, Ethiopia. She's joining me over Zoom. Valerie is a nurse who has been living in the Afar region for about 27, 28 years. I'm going to give her a chance to tell us a little bit about herself, where she's from, and how she ended up in the Afar region. Valerie, thank you so much for joining me over Zoom. I really appreciate you taking your time and joining me and the audiences here in Addis. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, where you're from, and what brought you to Afar.
Okay, well, hello to everybody first. I'm actually a foreign person who was born in Britain, raised in Australia, and first came to Ethiopia at the end of Haile Selassie's regime when I was a mere 22-year-old, just finished training as a nurse and a midwife. Now, that didn't bring me to live in Afar, but over a process of time, in the time of the Derg, I was working in a refugee camp in Sudan. Then I was working to try and see my whole drive is that I do not like to see human rights abuse, really, truly. This I learned when I was 22, when people were starving in the time of Haile Selassie, 1977, 1973, 74, that was in the European calendar. Today, I'm here having got married to an Afar. My life did a full circle. I married an Afar in 89 in Djibouti. And eventually, 3-4 years later, I was in Ethiopia at the beginning of Meles Zenaw's government and have been here since. With 34 other Afar, we started this organization called the Afar Pastoralist Development Association that works till now, mostly to try and do work which the government is not doing, to reach people the government's not reaching, and to really bring about development, and both social and economical development, that the pastoralist people of the Afar can accept within their lifestyle. Having said all that, we're here now in a terrible emergency, shocking. Now, APDA, while it does help and facilitate the community to become developed, to have education, to have health, to have equal rights for women and so on. Our concern is, of course, when they're hurt, when they're in an emergency situation, to also respond. And that's what we're doing today. The organization is all Afar. I, having lived here so long, can speak Afar to some extent. I know the Afar region very well. I walk through it. Really, Afar is today my home, I think.
Thank you, Valerie. What is the organization doing right now? You said you're trying to reach, areas where the government has not reached. Where do you get your assistance? Where do you get your funding? Who's assisting you in doing the help that you're doing right now?
Right now, the emergency is the northern part of Afar. It was the central west, and that was up until December 3rd. And as of the 17th of December, TPLF broke into fight in the northern part of Afar region, and they're now fighting in 5 waradas or 5 districts. It's become so extensive that over 300,000 people have become displaced. Now, most of those displaced people are living with the Afar community that they find hiding in rural areas. So APDA takes the position, our organization takes the position with a mobile health team to walk to them with camels, to walk around them all the time, to see their nutrition status, to help them with disease prevention, and to deliver to them what is utterly necessary, like blankets, like soap, like emergency food so they can eat it, and like all the issues that are saving their lives, and even assisting in maternal health, because people are literally displacing. Pregnant mothers are delivering on the camel track. It is really quite a horrific situation which we're dealing with day to day. And even on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 2 of our teams came back from Erepti and from Afdera, telling us terrible stories. And so now, while we loaded up one truck on the weekend to go to Erepti to reach people who are displacing from Magali, from Abala, from Erepti itself, now we're trying to load another truck to go in another direction to Yallo, where the Magali people are displacing in huge numbers. So actually, ABDA, as I said, does the work that other organizations do not do, cannot do, because we have health workers who are walking by foot, who are taking any assistance material on the back of a camel, are staying with the affected community, treating them, assisting them, giving them awareness, working with the pregnant mother, and so on and so on. So we're trying our best to stretch ourselves to a lot of different places. As we get assistance from, we have had assistance, and the diaspora, the Ethiopian diaspora, the Ethiopians in Addis have assisted extremely generously. And friends from all over the world have assisted. And then there are other organizations who've helped us with assistance. But unfortunately, because it's over 300,000 people displaced, people displacing daily still, it doesn't reach enough. We took out, for example, the truck we took out on Saturday. They distributed Saturday evening and Sunday. And really what we gave in food was so little that it was almost like giving a kilogram of wheat flour, a kilogram of ground barley per household, which is far too little, because the people in need, in desperate need, were so huge number. Their desperation is growing day by day because they're not getting assistance, and the number of people displaced day to day is growing because the fighting is continuing. On the weekend, there was huge fighting in Konaba. This again has displaced people. People are displacing actually once, twice, 3 times, carrying children and nothing else because they can't. So they leave behind their entire house. They come with nothing with them, no food with them, leaving whatever they had in their house, and just literally sheltering under a tree, trying to keep their children warm at night. We've still got the winter cold at night. And basically the situation is extremely drastic. We have found, and we're going to still find, I think, people who died displacing from hunger, from thirst, from literal exhaustion. And they have to run because the army, the TPLF army, unfortunately, are not just using automatic rifles. They're using mechanical warfare. They're using artillery warfare. They're using these tanks, which are very, very, very devastating and horrifically frightening. So people are terrified, running in all directions. And in that case, a lot of work needs to be done to save them.
That's heartbreaking, Valerie. Do you see any international organizations providing assistance there now, whether it's the United Nations, World Food Program, or any other? Is there any other international organizations besides what the locals are doing and what the people that have donated from, you said, the diaspora and Addis Ababa and so forth?
Yes, there are. WFP is here. WFP is sending out food. But unfortunately, as I discussed with the head of the WFP, the only thing that they have to offer aside from malnutrition food is whole wheat. And the wheat is coming from America, bought as a contribution of the American government, and it's not ground. So people in an emergency can't grind the grain. So they literally can't eat it. Little children, little toddlerly children cannot eat that food. They're not capable, and they're too weak now. And so they were telling me of an incident of 60 quintal or 6,000 kilograms of wheat reaching to Yallo, to Dirma. And the guy who told me about it said, look, this is virtually useless because people have not got the ability to grind the grain into flour. And then they need cooking pots, of course. And then, of course, I mean, there are some places like, I don't know if you know the Afar region, the government set up a displacement camp at a place called Guya in Kori on the road going to Addis. And now up to 5,000 households have congregated there. That's easy to reach. It's on the asphalt road. So yes, international NGOs are reaching them, and they have distributed food there. They've distributed blankets and water containers and so on. The people who are missing out are the ones who are not on the roadway, where we need to reach them by camel. And yeah, you have to walk to them. There's no other possibility. And at the moment, we have for APTA a list far too large, too big for the amount of resources we've got. As I said, hopefully by tomorrow we've put on the back of a truck what we've got now, and we'll be then empty until we get more assistance to go out to Yallo. We want to send out some blankets we've got. We will send out dates and this ground barley, because you don't need to cook it. You can just eat it and get energy. Okay, we will send out some sleeping mats. We will send out the Afar matting, which is they can put up to shade from wind, from the sun, and at night they can keep themselves a bit warmer by having shade from the night winds. And these mats, eventually they'll keep them and make them into Afar houses. That we need to do. Soap needs to go. More medicines need to go. We need in every place the very, very first necessities of survival. We need more of to get out there and save lives. Yes.
So what is the fighting like from what you've heard? Is it TPLF actually fighting the citizens of Afar, or are they striking in a uniformed way, or just abruptly attacking different waradas? Like what kind of is it like a terrorist type where they just attack at a certain location, or is there ongoing fighting in the borders and in the waradas?
Well, the TPLF attack, absolutely, for me and for other people, has zero logic and zero sense. So, I mean, they're attacking every piece of the community property and the community ability to get services, to have safe life. So they are attacking and shelling all clinics, all schools. They're dismantling or literally breaking up water schemes. They're taking away the solar pumps from water schemes. Even I've seen where they've taken out the gate valves so the pumping system will not work anymore. They are deliberately burning and destroying Afar houses, Afar traditional houses. So the thousands and thousands of houses on the border of Afar, between Afar and Tigray, and also Afar and Amhara region, that are being destroyed now. It's in the thousands. It's about 6,000-7,000 houses that need to be replaced. And overall, because no food reaches the area at all, then the market is gone. There is no market. So if anybody has the ability of helping his own house, he can't anymore. He can't sell his animals. He can't buy food. He is now desperate to receive food. As much as the displaced people are desperate, so are the people who are in the area as host community. They're equally desperate for food. So in every respect, the systems of safety, social safety and economic safety are gone. There is no health system now in the Western border at all. The only system that we can do is walk around the displaced people with medicine, with awareness, with soap, with the ability to purify water if they're drinking contaminated water, and so on and so on. But I mean, all in all, their ability to have health has gone totally. It's just totally amazing that the TPLF should take this position, which seems to be totally against the people of Afar. This, on this side, is totally not understood. We don't know why. So to label it as this or that, I'm not sure. But on the other side, to say that this war is not just killing and maiming people because they're being burnt by the rocket launching things and that sort of thing. The Dupti hospital is full of burnt children and women and men. It's awful. So, and they're getting new ones daily, newly wounded people daily, people dead. It's a huge number now. But aside from that, they're trying to take away the livelihood of the Afar. They're killing the Afar animals. We just heard this morning that they're rounding up the Afar camels and driving them into Tigray from Barahale. Well, this is shocking. This is very shocking, because in the end of the day, this is literally to finish the Afar. It's a very, very shocking thing. And why? For what reason? What does this do? How does this help? We've no idea. It's just a senseless vandalism. And it's seemingly, it's very shocking. It's really, I mean, I can only say I've never seen like this before. Never. In all the years I've been here, I've never seen such a horrible thing as this.
Thank you, Valerie. This is very heartbreaking. How are the ordinary people of Afar coping with this? Because, you know, the sad part is we're all Ethiopians, and it's kind of sad that, you know, a few are the ones organizing this type of heinous crime. And, you know, it really worries me how people might look at each other for this type of damage. How is the ordinary people feeling towards what TPLF is doing to them? This is a very traumatic experience. And what do you think the government needs to do in order to protect the people of Afar?
Afar always have the tradition to help each other. So if displaced people come into a settlement, immediately that settlement will try and feed them. They'll kill their own goats to feed the people who came displaced. If they come running into the town of Logia, then they are taken into the houses of the Afar people in Logia. So Afar are trying to help Afar as much as possible, and doing other practical things like collecting clothes, like collecting what spare blankets we've got in our houses, giving that. And even at the community level, to move the goods out by camel, the community gives the camels to move out the goods. So we are trying to work together. We're trying to help each other. But the issue of how angry the Afar feel, of course, I mean, they don't understand, because there's not a history that Afar had a history of hatred or some form of conflict with the Tigray people. Afar don't remember that, and they don't know of that. So why? We can only say that is because geographically, Afar region, if you look at the map, it connects to Djibouti. Okay, we have the road that brings all the goods from the port of Djibouti into Ethiopia, into the rest, into Addis Ababa, into the rest of Ethiopia. So they want to control that roadway. They have to travel through Afar. They have to go by force through Afar to get that roadway. Afar are defending that they do not get that roadway because Afar know this will destroy the economy of Ethiopia. 1. 2, the northern Afar has salt in the Afdera salt lake. It also has other mineral wealths in Dalol, in Barhale, such as potash, such as gold, which are really unexploited or unmined. But the Tigray people know it. They want it. They have, TPLF has announced they will take northern Tigray, northern Afar by force. They will take it. So what should the federal government do? What should the international community do? Firstly and foremostly, they must call the crime for what it is. It is not just a battle between Afar and Tigray. No, it is not. It is uncomprehendable that you could say a thing like that. So Afar, like any region, should have the autonomy that is legally given to them as a region to look after their land. Okay, so this should be safeguarded by the Ethiopian government, by the international community. And they should not be permitted to use all this heavy weaponry to destroy, to burn children, to destroy houses, to destroy everything, to loot everything that the community has. They've systematically looted, for example, in town, so that every single shop is looted. Every house is looted of its food. This should be called for what it is, a criminal event, a criminal act, to the point that Afar livelihood is vandalized, is looted, and this should not continue. This should stop now. Okay, and then together as people who do care for humanity, we have to try and put this together again. So we've seen the generosity of the Ethiopian diaspora, the Ethiopians in Addis and Ethiopians everywhere. They've phoned me up, they've contacted, how can we assist? Well, we've set up a contribution account. We're working and we've got assistance, but there is always, every single day need again. So, and NGOs, international NGOs can use APDA to distribute food on the camel through into the communities. They cannot, I mean, the international NGOs, for example, are not going through Afdera. They're not reaching Hamadela, where all the Barhale people are. Barhale is totally displaced. 110,000 people are displaced, living under trees now. So already some of those have died of starvation. We've sent up teams to do, health team to do screening, and we found awful situation. This situation needs immediate address. The situation of the Konaba people is so shocking. They are isolated without food. The government got through 3 trucks, but now it's cut off again. But we need to bypass that road and go through. We need to humanitarianly assist these people, but also at the same time advocate for an absolute halt to this insanity. It's not just madness, it's insanity. This criminal insanity must stop now. And we must, Afar must come back to where they were. They were living normally in relation with Tigray, in relation with Amhara region, in relation with the rest of Ethiopia. They were living normally. We need to come back to that stage.
Thank you, Valerie. This is such a heartbreaking testimony. And I really hope that this interview will reach more people to get help from all sectors interested in humanitarian efforts to help the people of Afar, and really to unite Ethiopians in really caring about the human lives that is being affected. And we really hope for a solution. I will definitely hope that you will come back and join me here at Prime Media to please feel free to use our media as a source where you can get your voice heard. I really appreciate you for the things that you're doing, and my heartfelt condolences to all the atrocities that's happening in Afar, and I hope that together we can overcome this. I really appreciate you for your time. I know this has been an emotional interview, and I hope that we can do more to help the people of Afar.
Well, I'm grateful for the place to talk, and I'm grateful that you are willing to accept what the world till now hasn't accepted. The world has just kept quiet about the misery of the Afar. The world has not spoken about the hunger of the Afar. They've always reverted to saying Tigray's hungry. Tigray could be hungry. Tigray could be in need. But so is Afar, you know? And the absolute destruction of the livelihood here is too shocking. There is no single health place working in the north now for over 500,000 people. They've destroyed 2 hospitals in the north. They've destroyed, I don't know, I think it's about 9 health centers. So, I mean, really and truly, we are sinking into misery like this. We have to pull ourselves to a stop, restore ourselves back. And we can only do it together, 2 hands clap. So, in fact, the people in the diaspora, the Ethiopians in Ethiopia, anybody listening, anybody hearing this message, please let's join together. And I will give you all details of how you could do that with us. And in the end, let's do something. Let's not sit here because the misery is going on.
Thank you, Valerie. I really appreciate your time. And I hope that you'll join us at a later time as well. Prime Media audiences, this is my time with Valerie Browning. I will join you with another guest next time. Thank you.